Thanks for tuning in to another video. And for today, I have the Suunto Run, and I am going to do a tips and tricks video. So stick around for the full video, and hopefully you get something out of this. I also did do a full review of this watch, so check that out. I'll leave it in the description. I want to thank Suunto for providing this review unit, but of course all the opinions and ideas in this video are mine alone. Hey, I wish there was more people to help me out, but it's just me right now. And also, in case I forget to mention, the unbox experience with the Suunto Run was actually one of the best unboxing experiences I've had. The detail they put into this is extraordinary, actually. So, if you appreciate a good unbox, like I said, the Suunto Run will definitely not disappoint. Let's keep going. There is a lot of fitness features on this watch, and a couple of unique features that you can do, and a couple of extra customizations that you can do on this watch that you can't do on other ones. First off, let me show you. We have an exercise. We're going to just start here. And all this data page can be adjusted. So you could have any information that you want listed here, and it will happen for each different exercise. So let me show you how to do that. You have to go into the app. So let me click on the app here, and we're going to go right into this little top watch icon up here. And we got to scroll here, and we have to go to Sport Mode Customization. So let's click on that. And now there is all the sports listed here, and then for each one there is several listed in there. So let's pick running. Let's click on this. And these are the different exercises that you have in running. So when you start your workout, again, you could just do free training by duration, distance, you could set your goals and all that kind of stuff. And for each one of these, you could have a different set of data points. So let's just do free training right here. We click on that, and then it will show you the data screens right here. It's showing you what they are, and there's a number over here, how many there are. And you can go through them, and there you go. And now you could add one if you want. But let's go back up to the top. We're going to edit this. And then it shows you right here, number 1. You can see the number 1 right there. That is your heart rate. This is the pace. And number 3 is your distance. You want to change, let's change the pace. Click on that. And now I could change it to any of these things right here, which is quite a bit. But then, again, you could scroll through all of this. Let's go through environment. You could click on one of these. Let's see what other is. There you go there. Maybe some different things you might want. These are all the things you could have listed there. So let's just pick distance, lap count, and we're going to hit save. And now that's for number 2. Now let's go into this one over here. And now we got average heart rate, active calories, and heart rate again. Maybe I don't want average heart rate. Let's just click on that. Again, you can change it to any of these things and any of the things up here, which is a lot of stuff. And there you go. You can see that that was changed. Then we can go down here and we can go to another one. So this is the screen that you would add. So let's hit add. And now I could have, basically, don't look at the numbers. You're just looking at the number of fields here. So I have 1 field, 2, 3, 4. So if I have only 1, obviously the icons are going to be a little bit bigger and a little easier to see. And if I have 4, it's going to look like that, just a little congested. But let's see. Let's add that. And now this is my 4th data page here. It just has all batteries there. So I could just change it and to whatever I want here. Okay, there we go. And I have to admit here, when I first did this, I thought this was psychology, and I thought that was a little odd to have that on your active data page. But now I get it. So yeah, if you made the same mistake, don't feel bad. And if you think that was still silly, well, it takes a lot of guts for me to point that out. So let's go ahead and click on this. And again, so those are all the ones that you would have there. Now you could also do the settings here. Again, we're in running and we're in the free training, as you can see right here. And we can go into the settings and you could change these things right here, whatever you want to do. So those are a couple of things you can change, and we're just going to hit save. And then again, you could do this for any of these 5 different running ones. And then walking. All of these you have for walking, you can go ahead and change. And then all the data pages that you change, that we just changed for running, that stays with running. Now walking, we'll have our own set of data pages, and we could adjust them, and it will save just for when I walk. And maybe when I do duration walking, I want different data pages than when I'm doing distance. Any of that kind of stuff can be adjusted, which is great. Now let me just get out of this, and you can create a new mode. So you could do this for the walking that we're in right here, and you could also do it right on the top here. We could just create a new one. And then you would pick the exercise that you want to do. So we were doing running, so let me just get into that. And now you could just have a different title up here. So this could be, marathon training or whatever you want to title it. And then you could have a new set of data pages just for this, which would be nice. Let me see if I could just adjust this quick. Let's do test 2 because I do have another one in there. So we save. And now this is test 2. Now this is in running, and this is our new exercise that we have here. And then if you want the data pages that are shown specifically for this, you just click on this when you start your run. So very customizable on the app here. Now, one or two of these features I did also show you quickly in my full review, and I'm just showing you again because this one is kind of important and kind of useful, I think. So we got to get into a exercise here. So we're just going to start one. And before we start it, actually, I'm going to go down here to exercise settings. Now, if you notice the 14H there, that is the battery life remaining if I did this exercise. So I have 14 hours to do this exercise, which obviously is plenty for me. But if you are doing a marathon or something like that, you might want, or you're doing some extreme running, I don't know what you're into. You may not have enough time. So you would just double check that. The other big issue is if your battery's almost dead or so, and you're just going for a little run, you might only see a little bit of time left. But it's nice that it gives you an estimation right there, so you'll know if your battery's going to last it or not, which is nice. But we click exercise settings here. And if you notice that the battery was too low or not enough, we click on here. We got 3 different options. We're going to go into here. So we got battery mode, performance, endurance, and power saving. And you can obviously see the different levels of battery life that's left there. And so if you click on performance, it actually shows you what features you're going to get and which ones you're going to lose. So you can still keep the dual band GPS. You got the data logging. The brightness is going to go to normal. So if you had it on high, it would go down to normal. We got the tone, the vibration, and then the Bluetooth would still be on. This is the endurance. And again, you get 17 hours now instead of the 14. You're going to go down to a single band GPS. You can see the data logging. Then we go to power saving, and you get 28 hours. So it doubled the battery life remaining, which was pretty nice. And you go back to dual band, which is interesting. And then we got this, and you can see that it's going to show off your Bluetooth. So it's nice that you have those options, and it's nice that you can see it right when you start your exercise. You can see what's going on and how much battery life you have remaining. Now, another tip, which is going to be right in this spot. So if we're right in here, we're in cycling now, and we're going to go down to settings and just scroll down here. You could also change the touchscreen. You could toggle it off. I know some people, when they're working out, they want to have the touchscreen toggled off so it's not turning on in the middle of the workout. That's a nice feature. What I wanted to show you is this. So let's get into the goals. We're going to do free training. Just click on that. This is the select button over here. And now we have these. You could pick. Free training just means I just run until I get tired. But then we have duration, distance, and calorie burning. And then if you pick duration, let's just click it. And now you could change your time right here. You just click select. And now you could pick whatever time that you want. Hit select again, and there you go. Then you could also set goals for like an intensity goal. If you want to be in a certain heart rate zone or something like that for this exercise, you could set that if you want. And I'll show you actually how to customize the heart rate zones in just a little bit. You have to do that on the app. Now, another really nice feature is that you have 3 buttons over here. The buttons actually feel like they're built really well. There's a nice click when you push on it, but you get the 3 buttons, like I said, and you do get the rotating crown. So a lot of features you have here to make navigation very easy on this watch. And to make it even easier, you're able to customize the long press on the top and the bottom, which is great. So let me show you how to do that. Now I have it customized already. For the long press on this one, the default is nothing. But now if I just click it and hold it, I get the control panel. And now we're going to scroll over here to customize. Let's click on that. And then we got the top button, which is right here. And then the bottom, which is right here. So we click on that. And this is everything you can change it to. So if there's an app you want to open up real quick, very easy to do. Let's change it to... Okay, so I'm going to pick sun and moon. So if I'm not on the home screen and I long press this button, it's going to take me back to the home screen, which is nice. Because if I'm 3 or 4 submenus in, I would have to hit back 3 times or 4 times to get back to the home screen. I just hold it and I'll go there. But if I'm on the home screen, then if I press and hold, then it's going to activate the app that I picked. Now there's a bunch of widgets on this watch, and you can access them by actually swiping up, swiping down, and it'll just come from the other end basically. Or you could just use your scroll wheel, and you could do that from the beginning as well, which is nice. I could just start scrolling and getting right into them. A lot of times on some watches, the scroll wheel does nothing on the home page. It only activates if you're kind of scrolling to something. So I like that it's available right away to do something. But again, these are all the widgets that I have here. Now, if I want to remove them, all I need to do is go to the control panel, and I'm going to go into Customize. And then we got to go into Edit Widgets. And now, if you go into here, you could minus all of these. You can see there. Now I got one to add in. I just hit add, and now it's all my widgets are full now. And there's no limit on them. I can put all of them on here. But as far as I can tell, there's no way to move these. If I want these in a different location, there's no way to do it from what I can tell. There might be a software update that helps with that. If you figured out a way to do it, let me know in the comments. But there is a way to update the widgets in your app. And since they're kind of related, let me just go over that right now. But they're separate though. So the widgets you update on your phone in the app, and then the ones on your watch are going to be different. So this is what's available here. And if we're in the app, let's go into here. I could blur up my name, but we're in the home portion of this. And this is basically the dashboard, and it calls this the widgets as well. And so you can see what's listed here. And I can customize it. So I just click on this, and this is what's available. Again, I could minus these if I don't like this, get rid of that one, it's gone. Then I want to add them, here it is, and these are all the ones that I can add. And then I could move these if I want. So I just go like this, and I can move it to wherever I want. So real easy to adjust the dashboard on this. And then you just save it, and it's all done. Now, I'm also just going to go back into the app here because you can change your daily goals, and you could do this only in the app as far as I know. So to get into where you can customize the goals, we're going to go up here to this data page. On the top there, I got to blur out my name. And let me just get into the settings here. So this is what's available, and we're going to go into settings and target settings. So let's click on that. And here you go. These are all the things that you can adjust. Real easy to do. You just pick something. And again, you just pick wherever you want to go, and there you go. And that's just my back button. When you see it just changed there, right? So very easy to do that if you want to adjust the goals. Sometimes the default settings are not where you want them to be. Okay, now, again, this watch is kind of leans a little bit towards runners, but there's a lot of different exercises that are available on this watch. So it's not just for runners. Now, if you didn't see an exercise that you'd like to do on a regular basis, well, you can kind of make up a new exercise and a whole new data page, and you can track it. Let me show you how to do that. So we got to get back to the beginning here, and then we got to go into this little watch icon on the top. We're just going to click on that, and it just syncs. It takes a second to sync every time you get into this little area of the app. Okay, now we have to go into sports mode customization. So let's click on that. Now we got to create a new mode, and basically you want to create a new exercise, but it has to use the GPS if you're going to be outside. So we have to make sure that that's included. So we're going to create a new mode, and then we have to scroll through here. Let's see here. It should be unspecified sport. Now this actually does use GPS. So and if you did indoor training, that would be a new exercise that you can create that doesn't use GPS, and that would save some battery life, obviously. But let's go into unspecified sport. And this is, again, our data screens, and this is the name. So we got to change this. Let's say maybe you're doing a baseball, and I don't know, you want just different exercise. I just wanted to pick one that I was sure that wasn't in the initial list. And so now unspecified sport, we got baseball. And again, if I didn't save it, I could just go ahead and start doing all my data screens here. If we save this, again, this is baseball that I'm saving. That's over there and created for an unspecified sport. So let me show you how to get into this on the watch. Okay, so now that unspecified sport that was labeled in the app is labeled something different in the exercises. So it might be an issue to find it the first time, but then remember, whatever sport you last did, you just push this top button and it will take you right to that. So let me go into here, and I found it here. It's called outdoor training. So I found it and I picked this, and this goes all the way to the top. So all your recent exercises always go to the top. And you can see here there's no unspecified exercise. For some reason, it's two different names. I'm not sure why, but that's what you got there, right? You could believe me there. And this is outdoor training, so let's click on that. This is baseball that I have, but I also did another one. So I did test 1, which is right there. So I could have 2 different sports, and I think you could have as many as you want. And then you pick the sport. Your data pages obviously are going to show up, but then also it will track it this way. So then you'll see, the time spent doing something. It will show you that it was doing this outdoor exercise. And again, if you want to track how much hours you spend in doing baseball or how much training you did, that would be available for you to train. That's the big reason to create a new exercise that you want to do. There you have it. And hopefully that helps you a little bit. Okay, this one's probably pretty important as well. You want to know how to pair your earbuds and pair any external devices to this watch. So let's go into Control Panel. I just pushed the button. If you didn't do it, if you didn't set it on this top button, you could just swipe up here and you get into the Control Panel. And then we just got to scroll down here. And we're going to get into pair devices. Let's click on that. This is the select button again. So headphones, I don't have any paired here. So if I usually just pair them with my phone. But if you want to pair them, you just do this. And you just make sure your buds are in pairing mode and it will find them. And then we got the other devices that you can add. Same thing, just make sure it's in pairing mode and it will connect. Now another important thing, I'm in the control panel here still, is you want to make sure your settings are set up the way that you want. So let's scroll down here. Units I meant, not settings. But it is in the settings menu. So there you go. It's right in the top, right in general, which kind of makes sense. Unit system, right in here. So click on that, and then you can pick which one you want. I'm in the United States, so I will stay with the Imperial, and that works out perfectly. Now, by default, the sleep settings are not set up to give you the maximum amount of data that you might want. So if you want a little extra data, you got to toggle that on. It does use a little more battery, and you could decide if you want them or not, but let me show you how to do it. So we are going to go back into the control panel, and then we actually have to go into settings again. And let me see here, we got to find it. It's sleep. Let's click that. And you could change your target if you want. And then this is the sleep tracking. But I believe the blood oxygen and the HRV were off by default. That might change in the future when software updates or something. That might be changed one way or the other. But if you want to make sure that you are getting the best data, there you go, just turn those on. And then you could also set your schedule here. And this is a nice spot to set up your alarm if you want to do that. And then you could also toggle on Do Not Disturb while you're sleeping. So that's a nice feature if you want to use those things. And it's pretty easy to find that, right? Now, another thing I will show you, which is probably something you're going to come across all the time. Let me just show you what I mean before I explain to you why we would change it. Hang on. So this is a phone call I have coming in, just an alert that you would get. And that's the alert you get. And that's kind of a little annoying, right? So you may or may not want that, and you can adjust it if you want. So let's take care of that. We're going to go into control panel here. I'm going to go back into this, and we're back into settings as well. Again, this is all the way at the bottom. We're just going to click on that. And then we got to scroll down to tone and vibration. There we go. So let's click on this. So this is all the notifications that are broken down into different little categories there, and you can change what you want to, or you can change how you can be alerted for them. So for, let's do your notification. So for any general notification, you could have the tone, the vibration, or both of them if you want. And if you click on this, there's no adjustment for volume or anything like that as far as I saw, but you could, again, do the tone, the vibration, or both of them. Now for the alarm clock, you probably want both of them. But if you don't want to wake up your partner or something like that, you could just click vibration. And now you can see that's changed there. So you can just go through these and change which ones you want. You could turn that tone off on all of them if you want and just have the vibration. If you don't want to miss something, then you could have both of them turned on. But it's nice that you're able to make that adjustment. Okay, now changing the watch faces on this watch is just a little different than some other watches. So let me show you how to do that in case you were wondering about it. We got to get into the control panel again. And then we have to get into customize, not customization. But we click on that, and then we're at watch face. We click on this. And now this is the watch faces that are available. Let me start at the top here. And there's only 8. So, hopefully one of these are to your liking, but you can't add any more from the app or anywhere else. So this is all you get. But if you did have one, this one, I know you can change the color. So let me pick on this one. And now you can see here, you could change the colors. And then once you do that, then you could slide over. And now you could change the widget if you want. This one only has one, or change the complication, I should say. There's only one that is available on this one. The other watch faces have 2 and 3 of them. But then you click on this, or you could just click the edit button. Some of the watch faces only give you like 3 or 4 different complications you can change it to. But this one actually does give you a fair amount. And each watch face is a little different. And each complication is actually just a little different. Now I could have nothing there if I want, if I don't want to be distracted. But if I want to put something in there, let's just pick steps. And then I could just click yes. And we got to get back to the watch face. And then it will give you that number right up there. Now another interesting feature of the watch is you can have the screen off and you could tap it and it won't wake up. Some watches have the tap to wake, so you just tap it and it lights up. Some people like that, some people don't. There is no direct way to toggle it on and off, but there's a little workaround to do it if you're interested. Now, if your screen's off right now, you got to hit a button to turn it on, or you do, the raise to wake like that. But again, if you want to be able to just tap the screen and turn it on, what you need to do is turn on the always on display. So let me show you how to do that. Again, we have to get into the control panel, and then we have to get down here to settings. And then let's get into display all the way at the bottom there. And this is also where you would change the brightness. Right here, you got 3 choices. If you want low, medium, and high. So if it's not bright enough or it's too bright, that's where you would adjust that. This is the always on display. So let's click that. I'll turn it on. So the always on display is going to be different for every watch face. So that's kind of cool. If you're getting a little tired of the watch face, again, you can change the watch face and then you have a different always on display. Now, it's a little dim right now. Now, the other watch faces, it's actually a little easier to see. But that's the always on display right there. And again, it's technically the screen is off. It's just showing the always on display. But then if I tap it, it wakes right up. So that's kind of a nice feature. If you do like that tap to wake feature, that's how you would get it. You just have to turn on the always on display. Now, there's one other tip that I didn't actually have on my list, but I just remembered. So let me just show you that because some people might be interested in it. So we are in the app again right here, and we're just going to click on the top icon up here. There's a couple of things here. I got to blur that out, and we scroll up here just a little bit. We're going to go into settings, and right here we can change the heart rate zones. So we just click on this. Now you can do the journal one right here. You could also change the pace and power zones. I'll just show you what that looks like. You could change it for each one if you want. But just in general, you could do the heart rate zones here. And again, you could do it for different ones for running and cycling, which is kind of cool, right? But let's do it for all sports. Click on this. And then this is the different zones that you have. And if you want to change zone 3, again, you could do it to whatever you want. And then you just hit done and it saves. So that's nice. A lot of times watches don't allow you to customize your heart rate zone. It just does it automatically. And this is a little more of a serious training watch. So it does give you some extra features that you probably wouldn't find on regular fitness watches. Again, just an extra feature that you might have been interested in. So that's all I have for today. As of right now, the software is actually pretty nice, pretty easy to use, very easy to see. The graphics are real nice on the watch and on the app, I thought. And I just thought it was laid out very well and easy to use. There was a couple of little features that I'm showing you here that maybe you didn't know where it was. But for the most part, I think it's pretty easy to navigate. Let me know in the comments, what do you think? Was there enough features for you? Was it easy to find all of them? Did you decide to buy the watch? Do you have the watch? What's your experience? Leave it in the comments. I'd love to hear it. And I'm sure other people would like to hear it. If you want to see my full review on this watch, again, check the description. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.